Well, hi everyone. This is Deidre Kindred, your nurse advocate, educator, and navigator. And tonight on Health Chats Among Friends, I have my good friend Heather Gill here. And we're going to be talking about Heather, who she is, and also some of the great things that she does in the community. So, Heather, say hi to everybody.
Hey there, Deidre, thank you for having me on your show. I'm really excited to be on this evening.
I'm really excited to have you. So, let us tell us a few things about you. Who is Heather Gill?
Great question. I'm sure we could talk for forever about everything that I am. No, I'm just kidding. A couple of things about me that your viewers might be interested in. I am a local real estate agent here in North Texas with eXp Realty. I've been working in that space, goodness, in real estate over 5 years. So, boots on the ground, working hard. It's been a little crazy, but my goodness, I love helping my clients. I've had a lot of fun with that this year, especially. I have two dogs I love. I've got three kids, three step kids. I love them to death. I claim them as mine. I got a wonderful husband. We currently live in Carrollton, Texas. We're getting ready to move to Flower Mound. So we're transitioning a little bit right now in our home, but that's great. It's time for that transition to happen. And then I am the founder of something called Texas Elder Care, which is what the connection was with us. And Texas Elder Care is a conglomerate. It's a collaborative effort, if you will, of industry professionals across several industries related to elder care and the elder care continuum, so that we can just answer the question, what do we do now? My background, many moons ago, I was a software trainer for a company, and I went into nursing homes and I was training the nursing home staff on how to enter in their patient data. So I was in and out of this environment for many years, learned the ropes, understood the environment very well. And through the years, I've had people ask the question, what do we do now with grandma? Is there something we need to look for in a nursing home? And these kind of questions. So anyway, Texas Elder Care, that's what we're doing. It's a passion of mine. And gosh, I love sharing it with people.
I'm so glad you brought that up because, lots of times our passion leads to events and opportunities such as this. So I just love what you're doing with Texas Elder Care. So tell us some of the things that you are doing within that particular group.
Oh, absolutely. Thank you. For one, I'm out meeting amazing industry thought leaders and providers like you. That's how I met you, Deidre. So people like yourself. I've had a lot of conversations over the past several months with some people that I want to interview and ask questions to, because really, everything's fine and dandy until it's not. And it's like, well, what do we do at this point in the game? And that could be anything from home health to what do we do with the house? What do we do? Do we need extra insurance? Do we need to sell the car? Can they drive? Like, there are just all these things you wouldn't necessarily think about. How's the medication going? Is it interacting? Do they need a new doctor? Do we need to move them into our house? Do they need assisted living? That's not, what's the financial piece of it? Do we need to rewrite the will? Do we need like a medical power of attorney? There's like so many things that could happen. And it's just like, what am I doing with this? I'm networking. I'm building a strong core relationship with other folks who are like-minded, that have the same kind of hearts. And again, just trying to answer those questions, because it's never a problem until it's a problem.
Right. It's never a problem until it's a problem. I love that. The first time I heard you say that, I was like, ooh, that's great. Because we don't think about what if I go in for surgery and it doesn't go too well? Right. What if my mother is continuing to fall and she's taking care of dad?
Yeah.
What if I can't get there? And how do I do XYZ? Or it's so many things. So with Texas Elder Care, name some of the things that you've been doing and who is your target audience with that?
Sure. Really, target audience would be the caregivers of those lovely elderly people we love. It's the
Mhm.
caregivers. So it's probably the children, maybe the grandchildren are the folks that we're reaching out to. We have a Facebook group called Texas Elder Care. We have a YouTube channel and we have a website. I would eventually like to kick this up as a podcast. So hopefully within the next 6 months, we'll have some of that going that direction. So
Yes.
our target audience is the caregiver. We just want to be a resource that's easy for people to find. You know, I was at an event, Deidre, this last weekend at Prestonwood Baptist Church here in Plano. They had a big event for caregivers. And I went with a friend of mine who's a Medicare specialist. She's a part of our group. And we had a table and this older lady came by and she's like, she just got like teary eyed. She's like, I wished I would have found you guys 6 months ago. And like, we weren't up and running yet. We just literally got running this year. She's like, I wish, like, cause she's like, there's just nothing out there that has everything brought together.
Right.
Yeah, I can call an attorney who's wills, probates, and trust. And yes, I can find a medical advocate, right? Like yourself. And yes, like I can go research and find all these people. But she's like, what you're doing is brilliant because you're just like making it super easy for people to find. So that's what we're trying to make this super easy because like life's hard enough without you working a full-time job, helping your kids. Then you got to help your mom or your dad or your grandma and grandpa. Right. And now you're up late at night trying to figure out, well, what is it? What is an ALF? And do I need that? Right. No, it's not an ALF. It's an assisted living facility. You don't know that. Like you wouldn't know because you just, it's not your world until it becomes your world.
You are so right. And then, you know, what's the difference between a medical versus a private or non-medical home health company? What's the difference between hospice and palliative care? It's so much, you know, difference. Ooh, it can be very hard and very overwhelming. So I do commend you for starting this group. So did COVID affect you very much with, you know, trying to launch this and get it out there and, you know, increase awareness?
Right. COVID affected so many of us in so many different ways. I think if anything, I can say this, COVID woke people up. It really did. I think it was a wake-up call. I think people had an opportunity to either get better or not, to go to new heights or not. Like we really had a choice that we could make during 2020. Yeah, you know, and I had my moment. I binge watched, I don't know how many shows on Netflix I did, you know, I think a lot of us did that kind of thing. But by the time I got toward the end of 2020, I was like, gosh, you know, there's just a lot that's been going on. What can I do to make a difference, be a little different, do a different approach and really help? Because one of the stories that stood out to me during 2020 with our elderly community was that nursing homes shut their doors and they said, you can't come in. And that was horrible for our senior population because we need touch, we need affection, we need closeness. We're wired for connection, right? That's how we are. That's who we are. And when they shut those doors, and I was so glad I recently met a lady who helped to get the Proposition 6 thing passed here in Texas recently. And she really just barnstormed the Capitol. They got some legislation passed. So that will never happen again. Praise God. Because like that's horrible. But I saw these things happening and I was like, gosh, how can I be helpful? And I was like, well, let me try to just get some information out there that's easy to find, bring some people together and demystify, you know, if you will, some of these things. Because as you're saying, like, what is palliative care? What is this? Like these terms are just, they're foreign.
Right. Yeah. And it's no easy fix. That's what people usually find out in healthcare. It's not like, oh, you take this pill and ta-da, everything's all daisies, right? It's always something else, you know. Right. Maybe the pill is not reacting right. Maybe the pill is too expensive, you know, and so things that you ask. So I love what you're doing because it's very similar to the podcast, but I like that you bring industry professionals on and you interview them. So let's talk a little bit about that. Because I think that's amazing.
I do have another interview show called Places to Go with Heather Gill, where I interview local business owners, and we talk about, their shop or their this or their that or their offering or whatever. And that's been a lot of fun. So I took that idea and just kind of brought it over to the healthcare / elder care space, if you will, because, recording an interview, you just hit record, you record it. You just have to find the right people to talk to. And I love when I'm out networking and having coffee with different professionals, because one, I get to hear their heart. I get to hear where they're coming from, where, the place of contribution, what got them into it. And I love that story. And gosh, I mean, isn't that what makes our hearts beat? That passion about why we're alive and what we're doing. So I love those conversations, and I love finding those right people and bringing them in. And I've got a whole bunch of people lined up for my next set of interviews. I just got to get moved to my new house and get settled so that I can do them. But yes, I'm really excited to get some more videos cut and out there.
Well, I love what you're doing, because, you took something during the pandemic and you said, what if I did this? And so many people, I can guarantee you, so many people have thought of their what if for the greater good, and they didn't act on it, but you did. So that is huge in my book, because we all have sat and said, oh, well, what if I did this? Or what if I did that? And it helps the greater good. So I love that. So your Facebook group, Texas Elder Care.
Yes.
Can anybody join, or is there a criteria?
Just that you are on Facebook, I guess, because you can't get there unless you're on Facebook.
That's
the Facebook group is Texas Elder Care. Would love to have you.
Have you ever thought about, do you do Instagram or any of the other platforms?
I do for my real estate business.
Okay.
I just haven't done it as much for this space, but, bringing in that and maybe TikTok, just, to kind of diversify some things. It's on the agenda, maybe 2022, I guess we'll see. I got to get all this stuff managed for, social medias. It can just
gotta move.
It can steal your brain too if you're not careful.
Oh my goodness, and your time.
Suck your brain up like zombies. Just suck your brains out.
Yes.
Right.
Well, I love what you're doing, Ms. Heather. So let's talk just a little bit about your realty. So EXP, so you're based out of, are you a certain area, or are you just Texas?
I really enjoy the fact that our brokerage is virtual. And so that was another thing that was great in 2020. I mean, I was already at home doing it. So I just continued to do what I was doing. We're virtual brokerage. I'm in North Texas. So I just helped a guy buy a house in Arlington, Texas. Great guy. He's moving here to be closer to his grandkids. And we just closed on that deal today. But pretty much here in North Texas. I live in Carrollton, as I mentioned. I'm moving to Flower Mound. So all this kind of northern suburban quadrant, if you will, is area I kick around in quite a bit.
You know what's so wonderful about you being a realtor is because you help your families in such a bigger way than imaginable. Right? Because if you have a client that is moving here and maybe they have their parents here. And they are trying to get acclimated to the resources that are available. Guess who they can call? They can call Heather Gill and get acclimated to all these wonderful resources that people just don't know what they don't know. So I think that is a great extension of, your realty business, and being able to help in other ways as well.
No, thank you. That is a great connection point. And it all kind of comes together. Home is where the heart is, right? I mean, it just really is. And sometimes your parents are in your home with you. Sometimes they're not. Sometimes they're in other places that are a little bit better for you, for them, and for you, maybe. But yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I see so many avenues where you help. What if they have a special needs child? What if they have their parent that wants to move here, but their parent still wants to get into the community and be active? So many different stories. So I think it's wonderful what you do as a realtor, and that you've extended it to helping the entire family, basically, in my opinion, because when mom or dad needs services, everybody should kick in and kind of like
There
do
you
their
go.
part.
Exactly.
Yes. Well, Heather, if someone wanted to find out more about you, what you do as a realtor, how you
Sure.
can help them find a home, and Texas Elder Care, what would be the best way for them to reach out to you?
I'm absolutely. I'm all over social media. As I mentioned, I've got some YouTube channels. I've got my Facebook group. So for Texas Elder Care group on Facebook, and then Texas Elder Care, TexasElder.care is our website. So it's .care. And then let's see, what else do we have? And then of course, reaching out to me as a realtor, you can do that. I'm on Facebook, Heather Gill Realtor, pretty easy, right? And then you can find me, I have a couple of different websites that I use, but I think welcome to Carrollton, Texas today, I believe, or you can go to DallasCountyRealEstateGuide.com. That'll both get you to my website, but you can also find me on Facebook too.
Awesome, awesome. Well, again, please visit Texas Elder Care on Facebook. Knowledge is power. So many wonderful professionals that she's been bringing on there, and we all learn something every day. So thank
Absolutely.
you, Heather.
And Deidre, you've been you're on my to-do list for more recordings soon. So
Oh,
please
okay.
know, because you offer such a great service what you do for the community. So please know I got you on the docket, and
Well, thank
we'll do some more
you.
videos with you as well. That'd be
My
great.
pleasure, my pleasure.
Yeah.
Well, again, thank you everyone for tuning in to Health Chats Among Friends. I am your nurse advocate, educator, and navigator. And we love bringing you reputable resources from our local communities for you to explore. Thank you again, Miss Heather. This has been great. We'll have to have you back to talk about another great topic. And thank you everyone for tuning in again, and have a great evening.